Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. I'm here with Jake Farrell.
And I'm excited to be here. We've got an announcement.
Yeah, should we get into it?
Let's go for it.
All right. You go.
On the 8th of August at the Bill Murray Comedy Club in Angel, North London, we will be doing a live show of the Screen Rot Podcast. And it won't just be me, Jacob, and Mango the Cat and El Burrito Monster serving you a 3-course meal. It will be with renowned and beloved comedian Josh Pugh.
Josh Pugh. It's going to be our first episode with a guest. Josh is going to come on with clips from a content creator of his choice.
Yes.
And we're going to do a bit of that with Josh.
Yeah. Like when they bring Daniel Sturridge on Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Is that the cat?
That's Mango. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
She's fine.
yeah. Yeah, basically, we've been excited about this for a long time. We've been teasing it for a little bit of time.
Intentionally and unintentionally.
Yeah. Josh is a fucking brilliant comedian. You'll have seen his stuff online. He makes really funny content. But he's also someone who gets this kind of stuff. He listens to the podcast. He's going to be into this. You might have to open the door and let the cat in.
Going to have to let Mango in.
Go on, you quickly go and let her in. I'll talk about the live event. But this live event is going to be sick. The key thing that we have to stress at this juncture... this will sell out because people love Josh Pugh.
Yes.
Right? And we have to be very careful because if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, thank you. If you're fairly new, thank you again. But what you will know is we like to chat some shit. We like to say some fairly mad stuff. And, you know... What we don't want is a room full of Josh Pugh sort of Taskmaster lovies. I know he's not done Taskmaster, but that's the kind of... I've done stuff at this comedy club with Josh in the past, and you get these very kind of like, we listen to Radio 4 and we watch Taskmaster and we think Josh Pugh's such a bloody legend. And if it's a room full of those guys, they're not going to like us. So we have to get as many of you guys in there as we can quickly before the Josh Pugh fans sell it out.
The last thing we need is people turning up expecting to have a funny night of comedy. We can't have that under any circumstances.
And there will be, don't get me wrong, like they will, like the mad thing is, the event is on sale. It hasn't, like no one's pushed it. No. And we've sold a few tickets already. And I don't know.
I dread to think why.
It might be people looking for us. I suspect it might be people looking for Josh. We have to make sure that we get as many rotters in that room as possible. So the ticket link will be live. We'll be sharing it on the Screen Rot Podcast Instagram. Yes. We'll be sharing it on our personal Instagrams. There'll be a ticket link in the podcast description of this episode. Mm-hmm. It's in North London. It's about 6:30 start. And the reason I'm vague about that is because I put 6 down, but you were like, no, do 6:30. And I was like, we could do an hour and a half episode. And you were like, no, just do an hour, but do 6:30. But we'll work that out. Basically, if you're going to need time to get to North London on the 8th of August, try and do something now that gives you a bit of time to get there for a 6 o'clock. She's fallen down.
Oh, man.
That gets you for a 6 o'clock start. He's going to have a heart attack.
It's like the Crystal Maze, this. Announce a podcast live show whilst the cat's going mad near you. But yeah, get your ducks in a row now. Maybe you work from home. Maybe your office is in London. Can you make Thursday your office day? Can you kind of sort your meetings out that day so you can get down there for 6, get a nice cold pint, then come and join us.
Get a beer. That the other thing that's so crucial about this show, because I've got a few things planned. I'm going to be honest. I've had stuff planned even before I messaged Jake being like, do you want to do a podcast? I had ideas about what I was going to do for this.
And you have no idea how terrifying that is.
And it's going to be better if everyone's had a drink. Let me just say that. I think it's going to be quite boozy. It's going to be a nice summer's evening.
It's going to be quality. I can't wait.
I'm considering putting together a little after party afterwards. I'm thinking about that.
Look, now, if the rotters turn up, if our people are there,
we're not having a load of Josh Pugh fans. Also, even people who are like fans.
Well, no, we are having Josh Pugh. Come along. Anyone can come.
But the point I'm trying to make is, like, even my quote unquote, like, there are people who like me because I do football stuff sometimes. Mm-hmm. And there might be someone else who watch this. The ones who watch this as well, great. What I don't want is like, you're the Arsenal guy. I'm going to come to your thing. It's like, no, you won't get it. I'm not talking about Arsenal. I'm talking about how much we fucking hate people.
Why are you and a nationally beloved comedian talking about someone off of Instagram for an hour?
Yeah. Right. We want people who get it in the room. And if there's... but like... drop us a message when you bought tickets, so we've got an idea of how many of you are coming. Because if there's enough people,
and
who
so
really
Ollie
like the
can
show,
prepare the sandwiches as well.
Yeah, so Ollie can make the burritos. But if there's enough people down, I think I'm gonna sort out a little after party thing
100%.
afterwards. And there's other rumours that there's going to be some singing involved in the show. There's rumours that Bobby Davro.
No, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a professional, well-managed show, and Josh Pugh will be there. It's not. It's not going to be carnage. It's going to be just like any normal, well-produced, excellent comedy show. And by listening to this, like we said, the ticket link has been live for a while. That was not within our control. This is the formal announcement. You are in on the ground floor. You, Rotters, the Hugill Massive, the Spreadsheet Boys, John T. Leibovitz, all of the above. You can get tickets for the 8th of August at the Bill Murray.
John T. Leibovitz, somebody messaged us some fucking funny stuff, by the way. That's just a random rotter that Jake's calling out there because he messaged our Instagram and he sent us some really funny stuff.
I'm sorry, I should be shouting out more people. If I haven't shouted out you, don't feel like it's because we don't love you as much.
Yeah.
We've got a number
Bradley
of
Franks, that's one guy.
We've got more
a lot
than...
of these people, it sounds like their names have been made up. There are times where we're like, is this like AI
Are they
bots?
under a pseudonym
There's
or
a guy
something?
called Henry Ferrari who messages us sometimes. I'm like,
And look,
anyway, I just stop
all
taking
of
the piss out
them,
of
we
They're
love.
fucking legends.
Yeah, we love all of them, and
there's women.
There's
and
women.
they are
Shut
some of
up.
the most gorgeous and sexy women on the planet, and I can't wait to see them.
But there's more than enough people following us. There's more than enough people on Spotify. This is why we're doing the live show. We want to bring the community together. We might ask you to invest in some crypto. Don't worry about it. Just turn up to the thing. No, we won't do that. We're going to do a lovely live show.
Find, I'm a lot taller in person. That's people don't realise that. I'm 6'4". A lot of people don't realise that.
6'4".
I am. Did you not know that? Yeah, I'm 6'4". So yeah, it's a really, really exciting opportunity. Oh dear. Right, let's get into this week's episode. So this week's episode, we're doing something that we've not done before.
To celebrate the live show, we're doing a new episode.
It's not to celebrate the live show.
It is.
It's not. We're not.
It's a promotion. It's marketing. Just get behind it.
Fuck me.
Some people have been in touch with
one
us.
day there's going to be a podcast about us. That's going to be the episode before we kill ourselves.
It'll be a fucking true crime podcast the way this fucking thing's going. Mango has anything to fucking do with it.
The episode before we kill ourselves. We're going to do one about us.
When we kill ourselves, mate, it'll be me doing you in the way things are going. I'm going to do Mango first, then you, then turn the gun on my...
6'4". No. This week, so basically we this will be about 33, 34 episodes in. And basically there's someone we covered right as they were sort of popping.
Mm-hmm.
And this person's continued to pop. And the word pop is quite...
It's relevant.
Quite relevant to what's one of the things he's done. Basically, we had a few people being like, you got to do this guy again. And they're not wrong because it's just gone from... It's gone from mad to worse. And
Mad to worse. Yeah, that's really good.
That's nice, isn't it?
That's very nice. And so if you like this kind of episode... listen on, see if you like it, drop us a message, give us 5 stars on Spotify or iTunes, and we'll probably then update some of the other amazing people that we've done here.
If people like a revisit, then we'll do some other revisits with relevant parties. But anyway, this week we are revisiting the world of
Davis Clarke.
Locked In.
Oi, get on this.
Yes.
Bit somber.
Yeah, well.
I am worried about our good friend Davis Clarke. He was firmly in the soft spot areas before.
We like him.
We liked him a lot.
Yeah.
Just a quick reminder for those of you that don't know, Davis Clarke was this guy. He's from Boston. He's a financial analyst. He got famous by doing these videos where he'd be like, I'm locked in. Let's fucking go, people. Let's have a day. Let's get out there.
Yeah.
And he absolutely went wild. When we did the episode before, I remember trying to research him and there was nothing about like who he actually was. It was like he'd come out of nowhere. You know, like in No Country for Old Men, the guy that goes around killing everyone. It's just like he's just popped out of nowhere, like the devil himself incarnate. Davis was like that. Now Davis, he's had the pieces on like the Boston Globe and stuff where it's like Davis Clarke is the financial analyst encouraging America's youth to lock in.
Yeah.
But now he's at risk of becoming a very tragic figure, I think, in a way that he never could have predicted. Yeah. Because it's all going a bit Pete Tong, isn't it? It's all going a bit mad.
Usually we spend a bit of time at the top, going, if you haven't heard of this guy, this is what he's like. I think you've given people enough of a rundown, but also we have done an episode on this guy already.
Yeah.
So I think what we can do is immediately watch the clip, which is the reason, and so many people sent us this, and this is the reason we're revisiting
yes.
it.
Let's be frank about it.
Yeah,
this is why.
This is the reason you're concerned.
This might have been the most kind of not requested clip, but have you seen this clip in the history of Screen Rot? So Davis, like we said, he's just done the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
And this is what happened.
Gave it absolutely everything I have for the people. 256. I shit my pants like crazy.
What?
I'm going after it all day, every day for the people. 2 hours, 56 minutes, man, people.
What the fuck?
One more. They're all so short. I forgot with him. They're so short.
Gave it absolutely everything I have for the people.
For the people.
256.
Yeah, great.
I shit my pants like
What?
crazy. I'm going after it all day, every day for the people. 2 hours, 56 minutes, man, people.
Now, I'm no expert, but he didn't just shit himself. In his own words, he shit his pants like crazy. And when you watch it, it's all down his legs.
It's absolutely mad.
It's so. I mean, we've done these episodes in the past where we're going, it's so mad, and kind of the joke is how astonished we are by some of these people, and it's just Big John ordering Chinese. This guy's covered in shit. He's covered in shit. His legs are covered in liquid shit. What's really funny is you it is. He's covered in his own shit. What's amazing is it's at the end of a marathon and he's ran well, and you can see everyone else is bunched really close together. There is 20 yards of space around him because he's covered in shit. He's not just shat himself.
Oh, God.
In his own words, he's shat his pants like crazy. I mean, we the last time we spoke about him, we were like, yeah, this guy is it's like he's the living embodiment of caffeine and the effects of caffeine. I mean, in the sense that he's shat himself, yeah,
He is.
He's shat everywhere. His legs.
His legs are covered in liquid shit. That's one of my favourite sentence thing you've ever said. To be clear, 3 hours for a marathon, or 2:56 to be more accurate.
That's unbelievable.
It's really, really,
Do you believe
really
it?
good. Well, yeah. I mean, we'll get into the kind of believability of it afterwards. Even if you were Davis, right? So you've done it in 3 hours, but in the last mile, you have
2:56 is an incredible time.
It's really, really good, and he's always been, I think, involved in ultramarathons, whatever. You finished, but in the last mile, you've explosively shit yourself to the point where it looks like you've had a very, very serious medical emergency. Do you still go for the phone to do the video there, or do you? I mean, he doesn't need to tell us he shit himself either. I mean, it probably would get out after the fact.
I've got. I mean, as you should. I've got so many questions. Of course I have. He's covered in shit. There's just so many questions.
Right.
I think you're right in that, it would get out. Do you know what I mean? He's famous.
He's owning it.
Well, he's famous in London.
Yes.
So just imagine how
Boston,
famous he must be there.
Right.
He must be one of the most recognisable people in that city.
Which is
right?
fucking mental.
Which is mental. But what that means is, if we are to believe this is legit, and if it's not, why the fuck would you make us think you've done it?
It's a bit like the Elvis dying on the toilet.
Yeah. But I guess it's that thing of I kind of have to show the world that I've shit myself, because if I haven't,
true.
no doubt he's being filmed. No doubt there's
people around him.
Do you know who he's really? And it's maybe because they're coming up at the same time, but he's kind of had a parallel come up with the hardest geezer, right? In the same way, the hardest geezer wouldn't be able to shit himself
Friend
during
of
the
Rishi
London
Sunak,
Marathon.
the hardest geezer.
What a cunt. This fucking the wet wipes coming in our comment section being like, why be so negative about someone who ran for charity, because he's a fucking cunt. We should have been harder on him in retrospect.
We should have been harder
anyway.
on him.
So there's a part of me that's like, has he picked up the phone and filmed himself doing that because he's thought to himself,
someone's going to out me anyway.
Yeah, someone's going to out me anyway. I don't think that's what's happened.
No.
I think over the last few months, it's become such a reflex to just film everything. And especially
That's so fascinating.
And I think what's really fascinating, he repeats this phrase twice within the 9-second video. Within 9 seconds, he uses the phrase "for the people."
For the people.
He sounds like the fucking Rock. hey, 2 minutes 56 for the people. Shat my pants like crazy for the people. It's I feel like he almost feels a responsibility to do this, and yet there is a part of me like when people send that to me, I have to be honest, because I keep a closer eye on the Instagram inbox than you do. When people send that to me, I watch it. I was like, oh, this can't be real. It
does make me think, because it's so on the nose, though. I think it would be like if whoever's writing Davis Clarke, the character, it would be like Jumping the Shark, him shitting his pants explosively in the Boston Marathon.
If it's not Jumping the Shark, if this isn't fiction, if this isn't a bit of a character, you know, like, pardon me, like, if Big John did that, you'd be like, it's Big John.
Big John did a 2:56 marathon.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe wrong example, but like if the Hardest Geezer did that, you'd be like, it's kind of a wind up. He's playing up to the idea of him that we all have of him, but that's not like he doesn't do wind ups.
No, he does. He's so sincere.
He's not known for self awareness,
famously.
So if this is legit,
yes.
Like I think your concerns are very much grounded.
Well, this is the thing, because it's like I don't know, if you're his parents, how old is he? What, 20, 25? 25, 26.
Let's say early 20s.
Yeah.
If your son is filming himself to the world, and I mean, I don't know if you've got your phone to hand, you could tell me how many millions of people have seen that.
Yeah.
I'd say tens.
Last time I checked, it was like
hundreds of millions across all platforms.
And obviously, because he shit himself, and everyone's forwarding it to everyone, it's got like treble the amount that his average video gets.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Like, but
it's in the tens of billions.
Like, if your son is internationally famous and is showing the world that he shits himself whilst running around Brooklyn,
like crazy,
like crazy,
around Boston,
I think you have to intervene.
I think you might have to.
Like honestly, I think we're making. I also, so I've just clocked. I'm holding this pipe like I'm fucking Sherlock Holmes trying to get to the bottom of a case. If that doesn't sum up my character, if that doesn't sum up the character I play on this podcast, a Sherlock Holmes holding a crack pipe trying to get to the bottom of the social media discourse. Now one more thing. It's Columbo.
And like you say, there is probably, maybe as he's running around, there's a load of like Boston kind of lads being like, hey Davis, you fucking wanker, or whatever. Like, fine, he's kind of like, all right, I got to get out in front of it. It doesn't feel like that. I feel like he's proud of having shat himself.
He is. Yeah, okay. I mean, look, I think we spoke about this on the Davis Clarke episode. We certainly spoke about it on the Tony P and DC episode. And I'm sorry, because I know this pushes you into territory where you feel uncomfortable.
Don't say the word, but I know what you say. Is it laughing at or is it laughing with? Due to
is
how they behave. Is he all right?
Is he all right? And are we at a point where we're laughing at someone who's not all right?
Got to be, because
why? Why does he have to be all right?
We weren't laughing at him.
No. But we are. The whole world is now laughing at him shitting himself.
I was laughing at you.
Is he all right? Like honestly,
well, the next
do you
video,
think he's all right?
Well, the next video, and I'll comment on that after the next video. The next video speaks to that, because like when we spoke last time with Davis, he was talking about, he'd just gone viral, and the phrase he used was his nerves are through the roof. Yeah. So now, bearing in mind, he's done the Boston Marathon, 2:56, great time, but when you shit yourself, it does somewhat take the gloss off it.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
So this one is another reflection into his mental state, and let's see if we think he's all right after this one, which is him talking about his February.
Barely slept since February, but after the 4-day weekend, I'm back, ready to rip in Q2. Let's have a day, people.
So he's saying he's barely slept since February. That was posted at the end of April. So I do think, I do wonder, is he all right?
I think we're talking about a different, is he all right? I'm talking about,
You're talking about if he has special educational needs. And I don't believe that he does. I just believe...
Oh, come on.
I don't think he does.
Come on.
No.
Mate.
I think he's an eccentric person, clearly.
Okay.
If he does, then it is very dark. It puts it in a very dark light, because he shouldn't. But then, he's living independently. He's an adult. He can do what he likes.
Oh, yeah, he's living independently as an adult. I'm not saying he should be fucking hospitalised.
But I opened this podcast by saying, is he all right? And I'm concerned for him.
You think the effects of going viral are sending him mad?
I think that is what's happening.
Maybe they are. I mean, the thing we can get into, like, you know, how much is. There's a couple of things I want to bring in here. First of all, I used to do a show about, and I think I've spoken about this on the podcast before, but I used to do a show about porn for BBC Sounds. There's a show called Jacob Hawley on Love for BBC Sounds. And a lot of that was looking at the way that the porn industry has kind of changed over the last few years.
Right.
And it's much more a kind of OnlyFans creator-led model.
Right.
Patron model.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people thought would happen with that is it would be like a safer, nicer environment for women to work because you've removed the kind of the nasty,
horrible
pervy producers and directors going, do this. I don't really feel comfortable doing that. Well, you have to because that's how you're going to get paid. You have to do the thing that you maybe don't want to do. And they're going, oh, okay. And actually what's happened is it's even worse now.
Right.
Because it turned out that rather than those men being like nasty pricks who are making girls do things they didn't want to do, they were actually the filter between the demands of the customer and the girls' limits. And they were going, look, well, I mean, you can, but they were going, look, the baying public want this.
Right.
That's obviously horrendous, but maybe a bit of this.
Right.
And now that the girls are kind of performing straight to their customers and they're doing things like, if you pay 500 quid, I'll make a personalised video. It's deprived and it's horrendous.
Yes.
And our actual desires as an audience are worse than and in the same way that kind of content has done that. Right. 20 years ago, Davies would be on TV. Now he's performing to us directly via the means of his phone. There's no one's commissioned him.
Yeah.
No one's producing the Davis Clarke show
That we're aware of.
right? But the demands that we have of him have maybe sent him mad.
And like I say, and both in terms of like he's not slept in months by the sounds of things, and I don't know if that's a function of his work or both. But also, I wonder. Clearly now, he's a good marathon runner, you have to be an amazing marathon runner to do what he did. But there must have been a part of him that's like, if I go around all day, every day, being like, lock in, have a day, fucking get on with it, and I run the marathon in like 5 hours, I'm going to get absolutely caned.
And that will apply to every single part of his life.
Right.
Like if you're the locked in, I'm doing my best, I'm going to maximise shareholder value guy. Like
you can't have a day off.
You can't not iron your shirt. Yeah, exactly. You can't have a day off.
That's the whole point.
So that's the kind of emotional and psychological stress he's under. Now let's think about the actual physical, like time constraints that must be affecting his life. Mm-hmm. The whole point is that he puts ridiculous amounts of hours into his silly little job.
Yeah.
Now he's a full-time content creator on top of that, maybe one of the most popular ones in the world at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's clearly training for marathons. Like, seriously, think about how demanding of a lifestyle that must be.
And the next video speaks to that as well, because we mentioned in the first time we went on Davis Clarke, we talked about Davis Clarke, that he was doing these exams for his financial analyst career, and he had failed one, and he talked about that. And recently, a similar thing happened, and he had to put out this video.
Well, so can I just stop you?
Yeah.
He didn't have to do anything.
No, he doesn't have to do anything. But then, we'll talk about that in a second. But he put out this video.
I failed that CFA level 3 exam because I came up short. I want to say sorry to everyone because I just couldn't get it done. Sometimes in life you lose, so it's on to the next, time to lock back in.
Now, that's the one that made me worry the most of all, because that is, I know he's a character or whatever, that is genuine pain. He has failed this. And bless him, he's failed a CFA exam. They're fucking wellard, and I bet he did, because he's shitting himself left and right doing marathons. But also, he's talking like he's shot someone. The way he's apologising to his public, to his audience.
Yeah.
It's like he's been caught doing. It's like he's been caught with you on the crack pipe with Mango on a Friday night.
Alec Baldwin has never shown that level of apology, and he killed someone. He's a murderer.
I didn't want to have to press the bell, but you have to press it sometimes.
There's a noise he makes in the middle of that. He goes, "I failed the exam," and he goes. There's like a kind of like there's like a kind of. It's like, and it's like, oh my god, like this is genuinely really upset you. But then, I mean, you said you were like, I know he's like a character. Do you think there's, like, I think Big John plays up to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think Snowy Danger plays up to
Yes.
it. I think all the like Bevo obviously plays up to it. They all play up to it, and every now and then the mask slips, but they all play up to it. I think this happens when we do this sometimes. When we do it with the American ones, we can't tell.
Yeah. Because they're so much more earnest. No, yeah, right.
And I like, but there, listen, maybe I'm completely misreading this, but that little noise, that kind of, I was like, oh my, you sound like you're going to fucking cry.
But the response has been, lots of people were laughing about him shitting himself. Do you think he's doing a brave thing by normalising failure? should we all shit ourselves in solidarity
But
with Davis?
it's like you're normalising failure when you fail because you're trying to do so many extremely demanding things at the same time whilst applying this ridiculous, relentless attitude to all of them. And I don't think it's healthy to normalise that. It's like, you know what, guys? I'm happy to admit that when you try and run a marathon every month and then you're trying to do a really difficult job in Q2 and travel the fucking country as one of the busiest content creators on the planet, sometimes you slip up. It's like, that's not healthy to say that. It's healthy to just stop trying to live 3 busy lives at once. You're killing yourself, Davis. Like he's killing himself. I mean, this is we've kind of checked back in. What, a month later, 6 weeks later, 2 months later?
Yeah, not that long. Yeah,
and it's like it's already gone crazy.
It's going at warp speed.
It's already like is this the hottest guy on the planet right now?
He might be the most electrifying man in media entertainment right now.
But is he the biggest?
I mean, definitely now you would rather have if your sole metric of how well you're doing is the amount of eyeballs that see you on a daily basis, there's probably no one more kind of present.
He's certainly up there.
And this is a thing. Back in the day, there was an anxiety, and it was never as fast as this because social media didn't exist in the same way. There was an anxiety about when people became too famous too quickly, right? Yeah. So like in our generation, it would have been Big Brother.
Like Jade Goody effect.
Jade Goody, or like remember like the guy Pete with Tourette's on Big Brother and stuff. Like all of those guys, Makosi, or whoever it was. What was her name? Nikki. Do you remember the one who was like, who is she or whatever? That one.
Is she dead?
I think she might. That was unrelated to fame. I think she did sadly pass away. I don't know. But
no, is she dead?
She is, I believe. Yeah.
Is she?
R.I.P.
How did she die?
I can't remember. I don't think it was like related to that stuff. I hope not. Anyway, but. What I mean is, there was this anxiety around it. And even like, do you remember, my mate Jamie used to talk about this at uni a lot. Do you remember on like Jeremy Kyle and all of those things?
Yeah.
And they would be like, and it came out afterwards, like, shock. Jeremy Kyle was fucking awful and they like, didn't look after him, whatever. But they would at least, at the end of a bad one, my mate Jamie would always talk about this. They'd go, all right, bring out Graham, bring out the Magic Man. Do you remember that? And they'd bring it out and it'd be I don't know what Graham did, whether he was just it was implied he was a psychotherapist, but he was just a bloke or whatever. But it would be like, Graham's here for the aftercare. And they'd be like, all right, yeah, don't worry. All right, we're going to go on to the next freak show now. But Graham, the Magic Man's
going to stay with his family. Yeah, Graham's going to have a good chat. And we're going to, and there was that feeling of like this man in a polo shirt would come out and make everything okay.
Where's Graham? Where's the Magic Man for Davis? I don't know. There's no template for this. No one can really talk about like what happens when this happens. And the next thing you know, you're trying so hard at a marathon that you shit yourself, which I don't think is super uncommon, by the way. Immense feats of physical activity. Sometimes
Paula Radcliffe did, didn't she? She sat somewhere.
I actually think she did do a poo while she was doing the marathon, but she just kind of went to the side of the road and did a poo.
I didn't get on her legs. Who was? Do you remember there was a girl called Janice? Was she like an Olympic runner for England?
She wasn't called Janice.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
She's called Jess Ennis. She was she's a heptathlete.
Yeah, people called her Janice, didn't they? Do you remember that? Yeah. My mate tripped her up on Camden High Street
while she was running.
No. She was just on a night out. She was on a night out with mates, and someone's like, "That's fucking Jessica Ennis." What is it?
That's Janice.
Janice, yeah, it's Janice. We were like, "Fuck!" And someone was like, "Dare to trip her up," and my mate did.
Your mate assaulted her. Great. Okay, 2 illegal things we've admitted to on the podcast 2 weeks in a row. But no,
how funny is that? He tripped up Janice.
It's not good. I don't condone that at all. I hope she's all right. We don't have a Magic Man for Davis. There is one person in Davis's life though that has been a positive of all of this.
Well, yeah, okay. So, let's watch this.
This is the fun.
I don't know about this guy now. I have to say, and this is going to go out after we've done Hub's Life, hasn't it?
It is, yeah.
So this is our second. This guy's dipped into 2 episodes now. This guy's snapped.
Yeah, he's fucking everywhere.
On the trot. So let's have a chat about this.
And in terms of like, is stuff being written or is it being controlled by people that are making like a social media sitcom? This would maybe make you think it is.
Tony P is showing us real food. Let's go. This is what it's all about.
We're locked in. We're rolling it up tonight. This man is an absolute legend. I am honored to be hanging out with this guy right now.
Hey, Tony P made it possible for all of us. We're ripping the steaks. Brandon, what do you think?
Meeting of the minds. This is awesome right here.
Meeting of the minds.
We'll call it the summit. The summit. We'll call it the summit.
The summit.
The summit, baby.
Let's go.
Tony P.
Now,
Tony P's everywhere.
I mean, Tony P is fucking everywhere. He And it seems like a thing where, and there was something you said there about like, is this part of a kind of scripted? And I really want to get into that.
The Boston cinematic universe.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, we've just seen Tony P dip in and offer a voiceover to Hub's Life down in Dallas.
100%.
Now, there seems to have been some kind of hookup between him and Davis. But I think what's really interesting to watch there is like Tony P's like fairly chilled.
Yeah. Well, relative to Davis.
Right, yeah. Davis is losing
El
his
Chapo was relatively fucking chill compared to Davis.
Davis is losing his mind. And that's the thing. You never worry about Tony P.
No, I don't actually.
Even when he's doing... and I think I raised the same concerns, is he autistic with Tony P? Where and if he is, he's fine. Whereas Davis, I'm like... your ticker's gonna fucking explode. Like how racehorses, if they run them too hard, their hearts do just fucking pop. I am worried that's gonna happen with Davis Clarke. Like his heart is just gonna fucking explode. And like I guess with Davis, this is the thing. You've tapped into something there. Is it all scripted? Now some of it definitely is. So there's a couple of examples I'll give. They're both UK examples. One of them is how to describe these guys, the kind of football girls, the football OnlyFans girls.
Oh,
do you know who I'm talking about? So there's Astrid Wett.
Yeah,
she's the Chelsea
they do
one.
Boxing though. But
they do fucking
were they
all
boxers
sorts.
first or OnlyFans first?
I think they're OnlyFans.
Right.
But so basically, there's Astrid Wett,
Yeah.
who is this Chelsea supporting OnlyFans girl who makes like videos on Twitter, TikTok, everything else. And it's all the kind of business model is, the more eyeballs I get on me, it feeds the OnlyFans. The more people who see me doing a video where I pretend I'm upset that Chelsea have lost, they'll then go and watch the OnlyFans because I make the video in skimpy clothing.
Right.
And each football club has now got their own one.
Right.
There's like an Arsenal one, and she's like 4'10". It's quite weird. there's like a Liverpool one. There's like one. For
Who was the Chelsea one? She was the.
I don't. Well,
the
I think Elle Brooke. Do you know Elle Brooke?
She's the boxer.
The
right?
Essex. They've all done boxing.
Okay,
Astrid Wett has done boxing.
Oh, right.
But I think Elle Brooke has got really into the boxing.
Yeah.
But she's a Man City fan. I don't really know.
Right.
But basically, an interesting thing that happened a few months ago, or a month or two ago, they all started like calling each other out for like boxing matches and being like, Arsenal was shit, nah. And it's
WWE.
Well, but they got rumbled. It clearly was WWE, but they
pretended
out.
it wasn't.
They were pretending it wasn't. Then they got called out because someone spotted that they were all in the same house. It's amazing.
And that man's name was Jacob Hawley.
No. But they were all in the same house. Now this is the thing. I did a bit of like SponCon for Joe.co.uk a few weeks ago.
Right.
The standard fucking go and pretend that you care about Formula E cars with two other influencers.
Well, they're definitely going to invite you back.
Anyway, I get on well with them, but they paid for my holiday. That's all right. But I did it with this girl called Alex, who was on the first series of The Traitors.
Right.
And I don't know why, I was talking to her. She looks like a fucking OnlyFans girl.
Right.
I was talking to her, and she was like, creators' houses are very like common.
Right.
She's got like 200,000 followers, and she's like a big like TikToker,
Yeah,
Instagram,
okay.
blah, blah. And they all do it. They all just get in houses. They like because essentially these like OnlyFans like football girls, their job is just, shagging themselves in front of a camera.
Eyeballs,
but trying to get
for
eyeballs.
whatever reason.
But they all just message each other being like, do you all just want to go and do this in Tenerife, and we'll rent a massive house and just do it together? But so then what they start doing, they start writing storylines. And when they kind of got rumbled and everyone was like, you're all just filming it in the same house, this is bollocks, they, rather than going, yeah, fine, you got us, they went further with the storylines. So now Astrid Wett, the Chelsea one, is pretending to be in a relationship with the Arsenal one. And, they can do content together.
And that's why they were living together.
Yeah. And that was their get out. It's like, actually, we're together. And so there's a guy called HS TikToky. Do you know him?
I've heard the name.
So he kind of does this as well, where like he pretended to steal Bevo's girlfriend.
Right.
He claimed he made an OnlyFans video with her. He obviously didn't. There never actually was. But there's all, and he has beef with her. But then they do actually have like fist fights sometimes. It's sort of it's really WWE. It bleeds into reality.
This is mad. So like, I think you've really hit on something. This and Tony P thankfully in Davis, their version of it is like we're having a steak.
Just having a steak.
We're not shagging each other.
I mean, the English ones. It's quite funny how they're like HS,
fighting or shagging. It's the only two things you can do.
Well, HS TikToki like pretended to like crash like a Mercedes A-Class, and it was like upside down, and he's got a friend called General G,
right?
And then they also hang out with this porn star called Lily Phillips, and they pretend that the general's going out with Lily Phillips, but that he's got autism and she doesn't like him touching her. It's crazy,
and it's these very layered, like WWE, very layered, like nuanced story. There's story within
one
stories.
That hates the other, but then they do actually have proper fights. And what, I guess to come back to the analogy I used earlier about pornography. There's no producers.
Yeah.
There's no screenwriters.
It's just madness.
It's I was talking to Andrew Kerr. You know who does
Legend,
the
yeah.
And we were talking about this the other day, and we were saying like one of them will die.
Something bad's going to happen.
One of them will die. But in the same way that WWE, there was clearly so much drugs going on behind the scenes that a few of them did die.
Right.
Chris Benoit
and they were
died.
putting their bodies
Eddie Guerrero
through insane
died.
stuff. Right.
Yeah. Like this will happen because there's no. Like the BBC aren't making the story of HS TikToki.
Yeah.
To come back to like, no one's designing Davis Clarke's storyline. No one like. If it was a TV thing, there would be like an end of series. They'd be like, right, here's how we end.
Yeah.
The problem is this is just going to go more and more mental until his heart does explode.
There is no end, and that's why I'm worried about him. And I think
because he's just ramping up to meet demand in the same way as the OnlyFans get. Like they're just trying to meet demand, but he doesn't have the creative storylines of a HS TikToki or a.
I hope he doesn't
about?
crash any cars.
Sorry, I like.
No, but I think we've on something.
The
Davis
creative
Clarke...
storylines of a HS TikToki. just to quickly reference back, we mentioned about the lads who've got a group chat about this podcast and they do the spreadsheet. Johnny, who messaged us, he said at one point they were disagreeing over who should be like fourth and fifth in like the chart, who we hate the most, and one of them messaged the group chat being like, "What the fuck are we doing with our lives?" I just had that moment then where I was like, the nuanced storylines of a HS TikToki.
Well, if we leave you with anything this episode, we want you to know that we're worried about Davis. We hope that
that's what we're trying to.
You are enough, Davis. You don't need the storyline to go bigger and bigger, and it all comes back, as it always does, to capitalism in the end, because growth is the only thing that promotes growth and begets more money and begets more followers.
I guess the thing to kind of leave the door open to, like, I feel like the first episode we did of Davis was like the beginning, and I don't think this is the end. I think what we're at now is like the middle, where the cracks are really starting to show.
Yeah,
he's failing tests at work.
Yeah,
he's shitting himself at the end of the marathon. He's doing voices. He's doing like messages that are so sincere that his voice is cracking, and like, I think we're going to end up doing one more.
No, but. What happens? In the positive way.
We're not doing one if he dies.
What happens in the biopic?
I'm worried he will.
Well, I am worried he will. But what happens in the biopic? Right, Johnny Cash. He's on his last legs. He's doing coke or whatever. He's shitting himself running the marathon. And then what happens after that? It's the comeback. It's the how you come back from here. And if I back anyone to come back from here, from this quite dark place, I mean, maybe he doesn't think it's dark, but it doesn't look great from the outside if you're shitting yourself at the Boston Marathon.
Shitting yourself in public is not good.
It's never good.
What do you think is the best ending to the Davis Clarke story? Like where could? Because do you know what I think would be the fucking coolest thing?
Shut the account.
Not even shut it. Just stop.
Yeah.
Imagine he just stopped posting.
And then 2 years from now, you heard he was married with 2 kids.
Yeah. And he just, in 2 years, he just did a post being like, by the way, guys, met a girl, got married, just wanted to sort of knuckle down at work a bit. Hope everyone's good. But it's just supposed to say, I'm all good. I know there's been a lot of, where's he gone? I just wanted to settle down a bit. That would be the fucking coolest thing in the world. That is not what's going to happen. I don't know.
It's a bit Goodwill Hunting, isn't it? It's like, you know what the highlight of my day is? When I come to your door and I think you're not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
I think you're not going to be shitting yourself with the Boston Marathon.
Well, when we did Tony P, we made the link with Truman Show.
Yeah.
And it's, he gets off the hamster wheel.
He gets off the wheel.
Do you know what I mean? And he escapes. And it's like, is Davis going to be able to escape?
We hope so, ladies and gents. That's you brought up to date on Davis Clarke here on the Rot Re-Up or the Rot Rewind or whatever we're going to call it. If you like the episode, if you like the concept, drop us a message, let us know.
Yeah, because I think there's a few more where we could kind of revisit and see where they are, where they're in a different place to where they were when we first sort of found them and we could do some revisits. It's not, we should stress, it's not that we're struggling to find people. There's,
oh my God, the amount of messages
the list
and
is
requests we
fucking
get.
long. The list is really long.
But this felt important.
And a lot of people asked for it. And look, it basically, if anyone that we've spoken about in the previous 30 episodes, if they shit themselves, we're going to revisit.
Big John, if Big John does a 2:56 marathon, we're revisiting that
oh,
motherfucker.
fuck me. Yeah. My God.
But we hope Davis gets out. We hope that we just one day never hear from him again. Until then,
there will be one more, but yeah.
Stay locked in, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Stay locked in. See you next week.
I'm telling you.